I'm often asked as a lactation consultant, what should I do to prepare to go to the hospital that might make my success increased with breastfeeding? Well, today I have three things that will help you if you're planning to breastfeed. The first is get some support. You want to plan your lactation post-delivery visit before you go in the hospital. And before you think you might not need help, think again. Particularly if you're a new mom and this is your first baby and this is something you've never done before, you most likely are going to benefit from some help when you get home. So I suggest that you call your pediatrician's office and check with your insurance company to see lactation consultants that they've paid for, or Google lactation consultants near me. Most insurance plans will pay for lactation services because usually breastfed babies and moms are healthier and it actually saves them money. So, of course, it's in their interest to pay. And if they're going to pay for it, why would you not do it? I mean, really, why would you leave the money on the table? So, the first thing you can do before you go to the hospital is line up where's your support going to come from. And if you have someone in your life, your mom or your nana or your great aunt or sisters who are going to be there to help you, that's great. But everyone's approach is different and they may have just their experience and they may not be experienced with babies that are born at the gestational age that your baby's born at or with a particular type of nipple that you have. So that's why I'm recommending that before you go, you either do a pre-visit with lactation, but most importantly, just have someone that you plan to see after you deliver. The second tip is get a clear expectation about what this is going to be like. Most people, particularly in the United States, have not seen a lot of people lactating. They've seen maybe their sister or friend who's feeding their baby, but that baby's probably older, maybe a week or at least a few days, and they've not seen a real newborn, which is what you're going to be feeding initially. So older babies, when you go and see them, they're kind of like, and they kind of know what they're doing, and moms kind of know what they're doing, and you look and say, oh, that's how it's going to be for me. But the reality is a brand newborn that's maybe 10 or 12 hours older or old, there's more like, and then falling asleep. And you may feel, oh my God, my baby's not getting enough because your baby's not what you've seen an older baby doing. But I assure you, as your baby gets older, it'll be doing that too. It's just not that old when you first have it, obviously. And your sister or your friend who you may have seen, and some people have never ever seen anyone breastfeed, but they kind of seen something and they have in their idea in their mind from reading the books that it's going to be easy. I want to say here that having a baby is natural, but you know from the stories you've heard that it's not necessarily easy. Same thing with breastfeeding. It is natural, but it's not necessarily easy because there's so many scenarios, so many different size nipples, so many different shaped nipples, so many babies have different size mouths, as well as babies that are born at different gestational ages. All of these factors are the kinds of things that a professional lactation consultant needs to assess you for. No one on the internet, nobody on YouTube, even me with all of my years of experience, can actually do an assessment. You need a hands-on person looking at you, your nipple, your baby, and then your history to see what's going on. So don't go in expecting that on day one your baby is going to be, sucking very well. Now, there are babies that are delivered and they seem like they watch the YouTube videos in utero, okay? They come out and they're just sucking and life is a breeze and mom's got those kind of nipples and it's just very easy for them. But that is not the expectation to have. If you're that person, great for you. But most of the clients I see are not. And they sometimes get deceived by the stages that the baby goes through. The first stage being that golden hour when the baby comes out and just clicks and gets right on the breast and starts sucking. And in an L&D, they're like, oh, this is so easy. Nana said it might be hard, but look at me. I'm one of those people. Then 10 hours later, the baby's sleeping and they're trying to get the baby to open its mouth and they're flopping the breast and squeezing and all of this. And they're realizing, hey, this isn't as easy all the time. So don't expect every feeding to be the same. You may have some great ones, and then you're going to have some that are smaller, maybe not as long. That's okay. That's all normal. The point here about developing realistic expectations is that if you expect that it might not be just like what you've seen, and that this baby, even if it's your second baby, it might be different, might be a better eater or not as good an eater as the other one, then you give nature and your baby a chance, because your baby is learning this. It hasn't had to suck before, and you are learning this. And so be patient with yourself. Expect that you can do it, particularly with the right help. And when you've recovered from, maybe you had a C-section, this is major surgery. You've been cut open. You are under the influence of drugs. You have pain. And now you're trying to feed this baby, and it's very overwhelming. There's a lot going on. So just don't overthink it. Expect and know that the first couple of days are not indicative of how it's going to be forever. It gets better every day. In fact, it's very important to get the baby fed, but this is only day 1 or 2. You're going to be feeding that baby, what, 18 years? I'm sure you're going to get the baby to eat. But the first few days are challenging, and if you come prepared for the challenges and accepting of the help, and understanding that your milk is not going to come flowing and you don't have to immediately go to formula, but it's the process of feeding the baby every 2 to 3 hours, it'll get just fine, okay? So understand the second tip is to come with the right set of expectations. And on that same note of being prepared and having expectations, the third recommendation that I'd have for moms today is once you are term, and that's about 38 weeks, and if you've had an uncomplicated pregnancy, you may want to get yourself a little insurance, and that would be to start collecting colostrum. Now, I want to say right here, you should check with your doctor to make sure that this is a good option for you. It's not for everyone. Check with your OB and find out if there are any reasons you should not start collecting colostrum at about 38, 39 weeks. 2 weeks is usually more than enough time for you to learn the techniques of hand expression. You can go back to my other video that shows how to do hand expression. It's the same process whether you've had the baby or not. You are collecting milk from your breast and you get a few drops and you save it until the baby comes, and then because you've been stimulating your breast to produce it, it's going to come more readily. This is a great way to prevent your baby from losing too much weight in the hospital if it takes a day or 2 for your colostrum to really start flowing freely, because if you've been collecting ahead of time, it's already there just waiting. So harvesting colostrum is the third thing that I recommend moms do if there are no medical contraindications from your OB, that you collect it and you could bring it with you to the hospital if you want to feed that colostrum immediately, or you could leave it home in your freezer if somebody can bring it once you deliver, because sometimes you're in induction of labor and keeping it frozen could be a problem in the hospital. So if you, once you deliver, you can give that to the baby, and it's great that your milk is coming in and you have that extra bonus. You can teach your partner or your labor support person also how to collect colostrum. So if you are not feeling up to it, they can help you in the hospital with more. But building a stock up in advance gives moms a certain, like insurance. Like I know my colostrum was already coming in, and when the baby starts to latch, or if the baby doesn't latch right away, then I've got this colostrum already, and it's going to be easier for me to keep producing more. That is the third thing that I'd like for moms who are coming to the hospital to have done before they get there. A quick review then is get a support system ahead of time, preferably somewhere in your third trimester. Check your peds office, look out local lactation consultants near you, or perhaps Google and find ones that are close by, find out their rates, and set up something tentatively for when you deliver, you know where you're going to go, preferably on day 5 to 10 after delivery, unless you have other complications. I think is a great time. Next, come with the right mindset. You might be that one who it's a breeze for, but if it's not, understanding that your milk will come in, but it doesn't come instantly. You may not see very much, but the amount that you're getting is probably adequate for the baby. And trusting in the process and understanding that both you and the baby are learning and it's going to be okay. The nurses and doctors and lactation consultants will reassure you, but don't be so fearful and feel you have to rush to supplementing. On the other hand, there's nothing wrong with supplementing. Supplementation with either donor breast milk or formula is perfectly okay unless you are doing it out of fear. Fear that you're not enough, because I want to tell you, you are enough. If you want to do this, you can do it. Just hang in there, get the right support, and I'm here for you, and so are the people in the hospital and other people around you. You can do this. So that is the second one. It's going to not be easy maybe, but it is definitely doable. And the third thing, of course, is if you can, and it's not contraindicated, get some colostrum going the last week or two before you come into the hospital so that it will be even easier. You have that insurance. Those are my 3 tips to make it a little easier in your breastfeeding journey. This is all about you and how you're going to feel. I'm Nana G, and I'm helping moms make this journey easier. Whether you choose to formula or breastfeed, it's all about doing the best thing for your baby, and there is no wrong or right plan. It's the one that works for you and you can feel good about. I'm here to give you the tools and the support that you need. If you found this interesting, or you want to add a comment about your own journey, something else that you would like moms to do before they come to the hospital, please add a comment. If you know somebody who's pregnant, please share this video with them so that they can have that bit of information. And if you're liking the content and you want more like it, please subscribe and let me know what topics you'd like to hear. I have so many things I want to share. They're not all on breastfeeding. They're more on other things. But please let me know what you would like, because it's really for you. Thank you, and have a great time as you embark on this journey, because it is a wonderful one, and we don't want it to be anything that causes you a lot of stress. Just get the information, go with it, and trust the process. You got this.